Welcome back. Let's dive right into this explainer of Playbook '06 from the Income Systems AI series. Today, we're breaking down the exact business model behind the AI content machine. If you've ever felt completely overwhelmed trying to keep up a presence across X, LinkedIn, Instagram, TikTok, and everywhere else, you're going to want to pay close attention to this one. We're looking at exactly how you turn a single daily idea into an absolute omni-channel powerhouse. Just look at the contrast here. The old way of creating content, man, it is a massive trap. Most creators burn out simply because they're trying to create completely separate content for every single platform from scratch. You know the drill. You write one post for LinkedIn, then you gotta film a different video for Shorts, draft a whole new email, and eventually you just hit a wall and stop. But this playbook reveals a modern tactical system where one single core idea fuels your entire brand. You write it once, and the machine handles the formatting. No more rewriting everything from scratch.
So here's our roadmap for today. We'll start with the content burnout problem, then look at the three-layer architecture, the AI reformatting engine, how to build the automation stack, platform rules and optimization, and finally, selling this whole thing as a service.
All right, part one, the content burnout problem. Let's talk about the manual creation trap. Here's the absolute truth of it. You don't lack creativity. You just lack a create once, distribute everywhere engine. Whether you're a creator, an agency, an affiliate marketer, or a coach trying to build authority, manually posting on every app is a fast track to burnout. This playbook is really built for people who already have great ideas, but just lack the engineering to scale them without losing their minds.
Moving on to part two, the three-layer architecture. Let's look at how we actually structure this creation process. The workflow of this whole machine is elegantly simple, but honestly, it's incredibly powerful. First up is layer one, the core idea. This is your original thought, just written out once. Then comes layer two, the AI reformatter, which grabs that thought and adapts it perfectly for each different platform. And finally, layer three, the distribution engine, automatically pushes that content out on a set schedule. Remember, we're talking about structure here, not magic.
Now, you absolutely cannot treat every platform the same, or your content is going to feel totally disconnected. Every channel has a very specific role. Look at LinkedIn, for example. Its job is building B2B authority and getting leads through long text and carousels. Contrast that with TikTok and YouTube Shorts. Those are purely top-of-funnel reach mechanisms. Reddit, that requires deep community trust. And Telegram is an owned audience where you actually control the relationship. You have to assign each platform a specific job and then measure its success only based on that job.
But hey, even with all this automation, the playbook strongly advises against flipping the switch on all 10 channels on day one. Don't do it. For the first 4 weeks, just start with 3 platforms. Figure out what actually resonates. Then, in weeks 5 through 8, add 3 more, using content you've already validated. By week 9, that's when you scale to all 10 via automation. The result here? The focused 3-platform learner is going to beat the 10-platform dabbler every single time because they actually know what their audience wants.
Okay, part 3, the AI reformatting engine. Let's see how one idea turns into 10 native formats.
So everything in this system kicks off with what's called the master content document. Think of this as your single source of truth. You are not writing a polished, finished blog post here. You're just jotting down a messy 200 to 400 word draft containing your core insight, a few supporting points, a personal story, and a clear call to action. Because it has your real human story and a contrarian angle, the AI actually has a deeply human anchor to work from. And that is exactly how you avoid spitting out generic, robotic-sounding AI content.
Once you've got that master document locked in, you feed it into highly tailored AI prompts. For instance, the prompt for X demands a scroll-stopping hook and exactly 1 point per tweet. The LinkedIn prompt forces vertical line breaks and personal storytelling. The Medium prompt takes that same short document and expands it into a 1,500-word SEO-optimized article. So the AI does the heavy lifting of translating your raw idea into the native culture of each specific platform.
On to part 4, building the automation stack. Let's wire this whole thing together.
All right, here is the exact 10-platform tool stack recommended in the playbook. And what I really love about this is how accessible it is. The whole thing costs between $37 and $69 a month. Notion acts as your brain and central content hub. Make.com is the invisible plumbing connecting it all. Claude or ChatGPT reformats everything via API. Then you've got Buffer or Later handling the direct social scheduling, Metricool tracking your weekly analytics, and Canva Pro for bulk creating visual carousels.
It's an incredibly tight, deeply integrated system. Let's actually look at the plumbing inside Make.com. First, you move an idea to ready in Notion. That triggers Make.com to ping the Claude API, format your idea 10 different ways, and drop it right back into Notion. But check out step 4. Human review is absolutely critical here. You review the drafts, make sure they actually sound like you, and hit approved. Only then does Make push it to Buffer for scheduling. That step right there is how you prevent off-brand, weird AI posts from ever seeing the light of day. Now for part 5, platform rules and optimization. Time to talk about the unwritten rules of the internet. The Playbook makes a very critical warning right here. There is absolutely zero push-button magic. We're not talking about some fully passive overnight hype. If you just blindly blast identical content everywhere at the exact same second, you are going to get shadow banned instantly, for sure. This model only works because of structure, discipline, and a deep respect for algorithm rules. So to survive, you've got to adhere to these non-negotiable compliance rules. For example, you stagger your posting times so you don't trip up duplicate content spam filters. On Reddit, you have to post manually, maintaining a strict 9-to-1 ratio of value to promotional links. On Medium, you've got to use canonical URLs to protect your SEO. And on Instagram, you need to rotate your hashtags so you don't get hit by shadow bans. Sticking to these rules proves you're a sophisticated creator, not just a spammer.
Now, once the data starts rolling in from your weekly analytics review, that's where the real magic happens. You find your top 20% best performing posts, and you feed them into a repurposing loop. Say you have a high-performing text thread on X on day 1, well, by day 3, you convert that into a visual LinkedIn carousel. By day 5, you narrate it into a YouTube short, expand it into a Medium article on day 7, and then blast it out as an email newsletter on day 9. You're literally squeezing maximum leverage out of the ideas you already know are absolute winners.
Finally, part 6, selling as a service. Let's look at the massive B2B opportunity hiding in here. Here's the kicker. Once you master the system for your own brand, you suddenly possess a highly valuable, productized service. Businesses, local agencies, and creators are desperately trying to be omnichannel, but they totally lack the technical know-how to pull it off. You can step right in as the operator, charging anywhere from $1,000 to $5,000 a month in recurring revenue per client, and you can manage the whole shebang from one centralized Notion hub. And because this entire architecture is completely templated, onboarding a new high-ticket client honestly takes just 4 hours of setup time. Hour 1, you hop on a discovery call to find their content pillars. Hour 2, you just duplicate your existing Notion workspace. Hour 3, you use your prompt library to generate their first batch of weekly content. And in Hour 4, you review it with them and approve the buffer queue. It's a highly repeatable, highly scalable business model. So the final question you really need to ask yourself after diving into Playbook 06 is this. Are you going to use this AI content machine to become completely omnipresent in your own niche, or will you take these exact workflows and become the high-ticket agency running the machine for everyone else? The blueprint is exactly the same, but the choice is yours. What will you build first?